Good afternoon, Graham. First of all, can I start with some injury news, please, if possible?
Yeah, no problem. I think only Ali Razor just still recovering from his hamstring. He hasn't trained today, so we'll see how he is tomorrow and the upcoming days. So he's probably the doubt at the moment. Everybody else we seem to be okay. Jose is having another sort of spell with the 23s tomorrow, so he should build up some game time. Apart from that, we're fully fit. What role do you see Danny Welbeck having, if any, against West Brom? Is he close to being involved? Well, we'll see. I mean, he's only had a couple of days with us, but he's made a really good first impression. He's a really fit guy. Has looked after himself really well as a professional. So it's just about integrating him with the team and getting some team training. He's had a session today, and we've got a couple more before the game. So probably take the decision, as close as we can to the game. But he's looking good. He's made a really good impression. Can I ask your thoughts on a possible European Premier League? Does it show that top clubs are determined to break away, and it's probably just a matter of time before it happens? I'm referring to the report earlier in the week. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know that much about it. I think we've got a really strong product at the moment with the Premier League and the Champions League. I'm speaking as a football fan there. I like the Premier League. I like the Champions League. So I'm not sure why there's a need for anything else. As I said last week, I think for the good of football at the moment, I think everybody's going through a lot of pain in terms of no crowds and incomes have gone, and I think we need to try to think about solutions as a collective, not necessarily breaking away. I covered your game on Sunday. I thought you dominated the chances and the possession against Crystal Palace, and the stats seem to bear that out. What can be done, though, from your point of view, to turn more of that dominance into goals and obviously more points? Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think we pretty much reduced Crystal Palace to one shot on goal, which was the penalty, which on the one hand, from a defensive perspective, from a control of the game, is really good. We probably did enough to certainly score, and another day, if you get lucky, you get 2 or 3, but one wasn't enough to get the 3 points, and we have to try to find ways to create more chances, but that's also football. It's also the challenge. Like I said, in the Premier League, you've got top players playing against you, and then one action, one thing can turn the game around a little bit. We started the game well. They got the penalty from the first entry into the box. I think from there we were quite dominant, as the stats would say. But that's the beauty of football. Crystal Palace do it well. They defend deep, but we still managed to keep going and create stuff. I was happy with our personality, happy with our spirit on the pitch. The work is to try to turn the margins around, and that's what we'll try to do. You mentioned the defensive unit there just a few moments ago. You're going to lose Lewis Dunk now, your captain, for 3 games through suspension. First of all, how big a miss will he be, and does it make you want to go back from maybe a back 3 to a back 4? Well, he's been our captain. He's a really important player, a really important person for us. So on that level, of course, he's a miss. But at the same time, that's what you've got a squad for. We've got good players that want to play and waiting to try to help the team. So it gives us those options. And like you say, there's a bit of flexibility there in terms of a back 4 or back 3. We can make that decision later towards the week. But I've been happy with how the team's been functioning recently, and the performances have been good. So reluctant to change too much. But clearly there's not another Lewis Dunk in our squad, because he's our captain and he's a bit unique, but that means you just have to find a different solution, more of a collective solution. You said after Palace that you've now reached a point where you have no expectations of the referee and VAR. Does that, I wonder, make your job more difficult or more stressful on a match day when you can't really second guess what the officials are going to do? Well, it's not that I think it's more of a choice, really. You watch it all week, and over the weekend there's always something going on in terms of VAR or the referee, and I don't think that'll ever change, because before VAR it was the referee and the linesman, so now it's just VAR. It's just another another thing. And then from my perspective, I can choose to worry so much about that, or I just carry on and let them get on with it. I think once the referee gives the penalty, then it's hard for VAR to overrule it, and I'm sort of all right with that, to be honest, because I'd rather the referee make the decision on the day. So, and sometimes when you're watching it live, you get all het up and you start to think that it's the referee and it's VAR's fault and everything else, but I can't control them. I can't do anything about them. I can't affect their performance necessarily. I just got to focus on myself and the players, and that's the only way I think we can have any sanity as a coach or as a team.
Just finally for me, one of your former clubs on Monday, obviously West Brom, 2 points from 15 available so far. It really is the sort of game you've got to win if you're going to be successful this season, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a Premier League game against a team that's fighting, that's earned the right to be here. We played them in pre-season, we drew 0-0, it was a tough game. They've had a draw against Chelsea, it was a good draw for them, and they've recently drawn against Burnley with a clean sheet, so they'll be fighting. Every team in the league is fighting, so we'll try our best to get a positive result, which is 3 points, and we'll see what happens.
Thanks for your time, Graham.
Cheers.
Hi Graham, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, great. So frustrating not to have picked up more points this season, but from what I saw at open training this morning, still a really great atmosphere among the players. Yeah,
I think so. We're happy with the group, happy with the spirit in the group. Like I said, the performance against Crystal Palace, I was happy with in terms of the spirit, in terms of not getting too down when we went a goal down. The personality on the pitch was good, and we've tried to keep things quite consistent in terms of how we are as a group. The Premier League can punish you sometimes, so you've got to try to act consistently regardless of the result, whether you win a couple or you don't. And the boys they've always been good, and I think we've got a better and better environment, a better spirit, so that's positive.
And lots of healthy competition within that squad as well. I could tell by the way they were racing each other in the sprints.
Yeah, there's certainly that. There's a lot of competition, a lot of guys wanting to play, wanting to help the team. You saw from Alexis McAllister, for example, when he came on, and he just wants to help the team. Pascal as well, when he came on, Aaron Connolly. So there's lots of competition, lots of choices for me, which is good, and which is really good. And then it's about making sure that mentality, that collective understanding that we can't just work with 11 players. We need a group, we need a squad together fighting, and we've got a really good togetherness at the moment.
And crazy results in the Premier League so far. Do you go into each game thinking anything could happen today?
Well, yeah, you go in with the humility that you can certainly lose any game in the Premier League, and you've got to go in with the ambition and the belief that you can win. We're going through a really strange, probably a unique period of time, just generally. So I'm sure that filters into football at some level. But we have to, understand that it's a football game at the highest level. If we're not good, and if we haven't got that little bit of luck, or that margin that needs to go your way, then you can come on the other side of a result, and at the same time focus on what you need to do and focus on your performance and try to improve, and then you've got a chance to win.
And how are you finding the empty Amex? Would you still say you have the home advantage at the weekend?
Well, we're at home, so there is a slight advantage. I've always thought that the crowd is the real defining factor in terms of what's an advantage or not. That's not to say that sometimes a home crowd can turn against the home team, because that can happen as well. But I think generally, the crowd, why Anfield is Anfield, for example, is not because of the changing rooms, it's not because of the grass, it's because of the supporters, and that's what we're all missing, and we're all having to deal with. And it's the longer it goes, the more concerning it is for football in general. But as coaches and players, there's nothing we can do about that. We've just got to try and get on with it as best we can.
Finally, just one on Danny Welbeck. You said he's making a good impression, doing well in training. Have you had a chance to have a chat with him and tell him what you want from him, what you're expecting from him this season? Yeah,
I spoke with him, before he signed for us. So there's a conversation there, and now we're just letting him, settle in and first couple of days with the team. So we're delighted with the fact that he's here. I think he brings a lot to the group on and off the pitch. And our challenge now is just to help him get up to speed, because he's not been training with the team for a while. We need to get him up to speed to play in the Premier League, and if we do that, I think we've got a really good player with us.
You look pretty speedy today. Thanks a lot, Graham.
Cheers.
Hi there, Graham. Just on the captaincy thing, have you made, injury permitting, have you made a decision on your captain for Monday?
Well, I think we've still got a bit of time as well. A few thoughts in my head, but nothing. I've not devoted that much time to it at this stage, Johnny, to be honest. I'll speak with the guys as well, Bruno and Billy and Björn, and we'll make a decision based on the team selection as well. So, just another thing to think of.
In terms of the role of a captain, I mean, abroad it isn't a massive thing to them when they play in other countries. How do you see the role of the captain, or is it more a point of just having voices amongst the group?
I think it's on some levels it's important, because he's the figurehead of the group, and he's someone that people can look up to, and he represents the club. It comes with a lot of responsibility. On the other hand, you want to develop leadership within the group and not rely on a title to sort of facilitate that. And I think that's something that we've been trying to do just generally as across the board, trying to develop that responsibility collectively and the individuals within that. Some are more vocal than others. But I think leadership isn't necessarily about how loud you shout. It's about how you act, what you do, how you think. So it's something that we've been trying to work with as a collective. I think we made some good steps, certainly post-lockdown. And as I alluded to earlier, the group's in a really good place. Spirit's really good. Togetherness is really strong. It's probably as good as we've had. So it's quite a nice environment to select somebody from.
Yeah. Just one on your opposition, West Bromwich Albion, promoted. What have you made of them and the squad that they have at the start of this Premier League season?
Well, I think they've strengthened from their promotion. They earned the right with the squad that they had to be here. I think it's not easy these times for anybody to necessarily strengthen, and things are good players are wanted by lots of people. So that's the challenge. They're fighting to get points in the league. They've picked up a couple of draws at Chelsea against Chelsea and Burnley. So they're here on merit, and they'll be fighting to stay in the league, I'm sure. Experienced manager, really good club. I like West Brom a lot. Struck me as always a good football club with a good fan base and good people around the club. So they'll be desperate to do well and stay in the league.